Well, thank you. It's great to be back with the co-op. I appreciate this opportunity, and especially the opportunity to serve you. Since January, I've been your representative in the United States Congress. It's a very high honor, and I've gotten around to all the towns. I know I've made some friends here, and it's been, for some, I think I haven't seen you since last year at this time, so I appreciate this opportunity. And, I would just say that, for those that I'm speaking to for the first time, that, I came from a working class family in Kinderhook. That's in Columbia County. I was the oldest of four. My dad was a mechanic for Otis Elevator. I was the first one to get the opportunity to graduate from college in our family. I enlisted in the New York Army National Guard at the age of 17. Opportunity to serve our country. And, when I finished Siena College, I went in the regular Army. And even though I started as a private, I rose to colonel, never forgot what it was like to come from a working class family, never forgot what it was like to be a private. And, that philosophy I take with me to the United States Congress. Absolutely, I want to see us grow this economy so every American gets a shot at the American dream. And that doesn't mean just the top shareholders. That means every worker and every company. And what I want to do is give you a quick update on what's going on. And the first thing I will tell you is this: is last week we signed into law a bill I think is going to be good for upstate New York, going to be good for our country. And it had to do with student loans. We were looking at doubling student loan rates, up to 6.8%. And Republicans and Democrats worked together in the House with Republicans and Democrats in the Senate with the President. And we signed into law a bill that's going to keep the student loans for both the subsidized and, importantly, for the first time, the unsubsidized portion of the student loan. We're going to have very competitive, low rates. And I mentioned I came from a working class family. I would never have been able to graduate from college had I had the opportunity to have programs such as these. So in this month, when we get ready to send kids back to school, this is an important bill that we passed. I would also tell you the Farm Bill. You see a lot in the news about the Farm Bill. Some of it's even true. I am a staunch advocate for our farmers. I will tell you that I believe our farmers represent all that's good in our country. And this Farm Bill that we're working on, that we now have a passed version in the House and a passed version in the Senate, we're working together to reconcile the differences so we can get a conference report and get it to the President to sign it. This is a bill that for the first time in anyone's memory is helping the Northeast. This is a bill that really is bringing more justice to our part of the country. In my estimation, previous farm bills were really written to help the Midwest and the West. And now we've got bills here that are going to help our farmers right here. I want to give a few illustrations. First of all, Derek, with the grain prices spiking last year after the drought, we had hard-working, I'm sure right in this room, we had dairy farmers that are working 7 days a week to lose money. We can't have this. We've got policy change. It's not everything I want with regard to dairy policy. But you know what? This policy is going to link together the input price, those grain prices, with the hundredweight price that you get for your milk. So you enter this program, and the first $4 of margin between those grains and the hundredweight will be at no cost to the farmer. So now it moves together. So now even if you're getting a good, before we get this policy into effect, even if you're getting a good hundredweight price and your grain prices spike up, you're losing money. So this is an important reform, and especially in a state where the average herd is 118, and when this is a state that's undersupplied. The fact is of the matter, we have room for growth. So that's an important policy provision. We've also got provisions in there that help our fruit and vegetable growers. Crop insurance reform. We've got, as we know, we've got specialty crop farmers that sometimes grow 3 different crops on the same field. And yet we've got a crop insurance program that's really designed more for the corporate farms in the Midwest and the West, where they grow one crop on thousands and thousands of acres. We've got important reforms in here that help change that. We've increased the investment for research. A direct correlation between research and the yield of our specialty crop. And not for nothing, but the Cornell Cooperative Extension often wins those competitions, so we not only get the benefit of increased and enhanced yield, but also an acceleration in our local economies because of the great work of the Cornell Cooperative Extension. We've got young farmer initiatives in this farm bill. Myself and another veteran, Sergeant Major retired Tim Walls, Democrat from Minnesota, we worked together on this Farmer Rancher Opportunity Act, recognizing the fact that as proud as we are of our farmers, and I'm biased, I think we've got the best farmers in the world. The average age of a farmer in New York is 57. We're going to have to inspire a whole new generation to come to the farm, or we're going to end up guarding food the way we guarded oil in the past. We need to get out of the business of guarding oil, be energy independent, and we need never to be guarding food. And to do that, we need to protect our family farms. And I'll tell you, this young farmer program, we got a good portion of that Farmer Rancher Opportunity Act in the Farm Bill. We've got access to land, access to training, access to credit, access to discounts on insurance for the first 5 years. Because we recognize that first decade for a beginning farmer is very hazardous, and we literally and figuratively want them to get their roots into the ground. So these are important provisions. You know, we have farm-to-school initiatives, conservation initiatives in the Farm Bill, good reforms. We're helping expand broadband in this Farm Bill, and we're helping fight Lyme disease in this Farm Bill. It's called the Farm Bill, but a better way to think about it is a bill for rural America. And these important reforms will not go into effect unless we pass the Farm Bill. You know, there are some that are not as passionate about farmers as I am, and they're concerned about taxpayers. I'm concerned about taxpayers too. But if you want to save money, you got to pass the Farm Bill, because the savings come in the reforms. You know, right now, we pay corporate farmers to sit on their butt and do nothing, and they collect checks from us, the taxpayers. This ends. In this Farm Bill, we implement reforms so that doesn't happen. We help save the taxpayer dollars. So I know on the news you'll hear critiques from various directions about the Farm Bill, but we've got to pass this Farm Bill. We've got to get this done. And I'm working with a coalition in the Congress to make that happen. I'm a leader in a new group called No Labels. No Labels. In this group, you've got 80 members of Congress from the House and the Senate. They're Republicans, they're Democrats, no labels. They're conservatives, they're liberals, no labels. We're trying to make this Congress functional. And you may have heard earlier in this year a bill called No Budget, No Pay. If you don't pass a budget, you don't get paid for members of Congress. That came out of No Labels. You're darn right. That came out of No Labels. And now we're working together, and a subset of them, we're trying to push common sense reforms and to get this done. This Farm Bill's got to get done. I want to give you two more updates I think are important, because you need to hear from me, because I work for you. And, you know, the first thing is, as somebody who wore the uniform for 29 years and had 4 combat tours to Iraq, I believe in every fiber in my body in protecting this cherished way of life. But we have no business going to war with Syria. And I will tell you right now that our government is on track to give arms to the Syrian rebels. This is a mistake. This is a mistake. Not only do we not know enough about these rebels, some of whom shot my paratroopers. It's not just that. It's that if we give arms to Syria, we're not going to resolve the matter. We're going to exacerbate it. We're going to make it worse. And then we'll be responsible for that civil war. This at a time of sequester, when the parties should be coming together to replace that sequester with a pro-growth, fiscally responsible long-term budget deal. We have no business arming these rebels. I oppose that action. I oppose military action in Syria. But at the very least, there should be a vote in the Congress. You know, think about it this way. If another country was to give a rebel group arms for the express purpose of attacking us, we would view that as an act of war. And for us to give a rebel group arms to attack another country, likewise. And our founders were clear on this, that on matters of war and peace, on authorizing the use of force, that resides with the people's representatives in the United States Congress. This is why I've led an effort, it's a bipartisan effort, that there should be a vote. Before we arm rebels, there should be a vote authorizing that. And I'm continuing to fight for that, and I hope to bring that to your attention. I say no to war with Syria. Second piece of this, and it's related, because it has to do with protecting our cherished way of life. First 6 weeks I was serving in the United States Congress. Then I was serving as the representative for the 20th Congressional District. It had 8 towns in Otsego County. The Patriot Act was up for reauthorization, the so-called Patriot Act. It had to do with how we're going to conduct security inside this country, a number of things. When I read that bill up for reauthorization, it had a portion in there that, in my view, was explicitly, facially unconstitutional, having to do with roving wiretaps. You know, that law said that a general description for a warrant will do. Well, if you believe that, you've got to change the Constitution. Because the Fourth Amendment says that you need specificity in terms of person, place, and thing. So we can't pass a law like that. But it was more. There was a section called Section 215, had to do with business records. And in my view, it was so generally written that I was concerned our government could end up collecting information on us, law-abiding citizens. The specific language used in that section is called relevant data. And I said, what does this mean, relevant data? I was never satisfied with the response. I voted no on reauthorization, and we come to find out that relevant data has been defined as everything, all your phone records. This is unacceptable. This is a country that believes in freedom, the Bill of Rights. So while I believe in protecting our cherished way of life with every fiber in my body, it's because of that that we fight for these freedoms. I refuse to accept that we have to give up our freedoms to defend them. These are the things I'm fighting for. 3 broad goals. Regardless of what party you're in, you can rally around these goals. To grow this economy so that every American gets a shot at the American dream. To move back to a balanced budget so that future generations get the same choices and freedoms that we have. And third, to protect this cherished way of life from threats from abroad, but also from encroachment on our Bill of Rights here at home. These are our goals for all people, for all time. And let me just close by saying, once again, what a privilege it is to serve you. I have an office in Cooperstown. I took meetings with constituents today, about 7 different meetings with constituents. I welcome them. I hope if you have, I heard from some folks tonight, what's on your mind. Thank you for sharing. This is very important. We can live free. This was an experiment. That's what some called us back in 1776, and then when we secured our independence. This was the idea that we could be self-governing, and we can. You know, I stand before you as a guy 3 years ago who was a soldier, and somebody who has self-imposed term limits. I'm not looking to be a career politician. I've said the most I'll serve in the Congress is 8 years, and then there'll be time for new blood to come rolling through. But for the time I'm working for you have every ounce of energy. That I serve you with integrity and sincerity, regardless of party. And I just want to say I've greatly appreciated my interactions with the co-op. You're well led here. They communicate your needs. We have been working to expand broadband together, to try to look at recapitalization for this plan here, and I've appreciated the information. I'm doing my very best to serve you. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you. God bless you.